my heroes are potheads. So why drink and drive when you can smoke and fly? Peter Tosh said got to legalize. All my heroes are potheads.
Welcome to another episode of Comics on Cannabis, where we talk everything from cannabis, sports, music, TV, anything pop culture, just a cool place to hang out. I am Ed Cho. I am your host. Along with me is my co-host, Darek. What's up, D?
I'm doing well. Excited to be here.
That's pretty cool to be here, huh?
Yeah.
Not so bad. Of course, joining us behind, we have Chris and Ming. Say hi, guys.
Turn me up.
You can hear them.
What's up, everybody? Thank you.
Oh, thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah. And obviously, it's a party here because one of our taglines here is, of course, a cool place to hang out, and we are in the coolest place to hang out. We are at the Green Room, New Jersey, with owner, mad cool guy, entrepreneur extraordinaire, the king of CBD at this point, Mr. Darek Michael. What's up, Darek?
What's going on, everyone? So it's Darek. We're here at the Green Room in Red Bank. Thank you, Ed, for the introduction. Super happy to be here. Let's chop it up.
Absolutely. So, you know what? I've been to places before, CBD places. I've been places that, dispensaries and stuff. And I got to tell you, every time we've hung out a couple times, right? This place is so warming. When you come in here, it feels like home. You're greeted well. It's just great products everywhere you look. I mean, just congratulations on all this. And this is your third one. I mean, this isn't just one that he has. This is a third. Number three. Number one, you have, I believe, in Hoboken.
Yep.
Number two, you have in Montclair. Mm-hmm. And then this beautiful store here. I walk in here, I look at this guy. The guy has everything. I needed to know his story and basically throw it out there, man. Like how did all this start? And just how did all of this happen, bro?
Yeah, so, for starters, like I said, I am Darek. I'm from Bergen County, New Jersey. I'm first generation in this country. My father's from Poland, mom's from Cuba, so I got a fun little background at home. Thank you again for the introduction and the kind words. This has been something that's really special to me. It's a new evolving business, and the most exciting thing for me here is kind of that it's like I'm leading the movement. I'm pioneering, what New Jersey is expecting for CBD. My goal here is to make sure that you want to shop here, your kids want to shop here, and your parents want to shop here. That's why the store looks the way it does. I appreciate you saying it's warming. But ultimately, this all came to fruition. I used to be a reporter before this. I was at NBC News for a bit. Was overseas with them in France. I moved back home. Really wasn't liking my job. I wanted to start something new. Talked to my dad. We discussed, possibilities of being an entrepreneur, starting a business, and got lucky. That's first and foremost. I walked by a CBD store at 4 a.m. one night in New York City after working at a bar as a bar back. Got paid $40 for 8-hour shift.
A bar back to this.
A
bar back to this. But
it was miserable, and I was like, "What's next?" And I saw this store and asked for a job there. I worked there for about 6 to 8 months. What I learned there, I brought to New Jersey, and I ended up starting my own brand.
Now, it's weird. Like I said, CBD has been, it's just growing. I mean, everywhere you look, CBD. I know everybody on our IG and most people know what CBD is, but for those that don't, you mind just giving us a detail of what exactly it is?
Yeah.
Most people think CBD, THC, marijuana, cannabis,
Are all the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like hit us on what CBD actually is and,
Yeah. So one of my biggest business models for the store is keep it simple, stupid. So we always try to describe and explain everything in easy ways. Easiest way to understand CBD is when you're looking at medical marijuana, what makes it medical is the CBD part. There's no such thing as THC that has strictly medicinal value. THC is always going to be numbing. When you're using the CBD is the anti-inflammatory part, so that's actually combating, let's say if you have pain, it's combating the pain, where the THC is actually just numbing it. So having the two together is where you get the best results. Now in this location, everything's hemp-derived. It's all below 0.3% THC, so we are able to sell flower, edibles, cartridges, things like that. But this is strictly just the anti-inflammatory component of cannabis.
Okay, so non-psychoactive at all. It's just you just take it if you just want to get better, heal it. And what are the excuse me? What I'm prepping it up. Yeah, exactly. What are the what do you use it for? Like I use it for anxiety, and that's one, right? But that can't be the only thing. there's like so much more, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so basically the best way to describe it, it's nature's natural anti-inflammatory. So when you're using something like that, it's going to help you with anxiety, with stress, with pain, with sleep. You know, the list goes on. Then the more intensive list of the people who have Crohn's, MS, lupus, cancer. Reason why it works with a lot of those types of diseases is because they're all inflammation-induced diseases. So by using something that's anti-inflammatory, you're giving your body really what it needs to fight it. You know, you're giving your body the opportunity to slow it down, to prevent it, to help it. That's why there's all these different options for products in the store. That's why we have a pet line, because pets experience the same, receptors that we have, so they're able to get the same anxiety and stress relief that we do. Same assistance with sleep and pain, things like that.
I mean, you do have everything from pets to honey to edibles to smoking. Is there a difference when you take it? I prefer smoking it. I like the flower better. But are there? I mean, I just do.
Yeah.
And is there a difference from smoking it to edibles to what would you suggest if somebody came in here and said, "All right, I'm having pain. I have anxiety, and I need something." Would you tell them, all right, here's some edibles. Here's something. Would you rather smoke it? Like what would you tell them?
Yeah,
This is
so
what's best for them.
My famous question, and all the employees know it. It's like a broken record type thing. I always ask people, what do you want to use? Do you want to smoke CBD? Do you want to eat it, or do you want to drink it? Once I kind of limit down those options, figure out what they're really looking for. If they're looking for something that's strictly like a stress and anxiety relief, you can use any of those three options. Now, if you're coming in here strictly for like pain, let's say you got neck pain, back pain, arthritis, things like that, tendonitis, you get hit playing a sport, it's got topical injuries. Now you're going to be using lotions, for example. But really what it comes down to is everyone's preference. There's everyone's favorite product is in the store. If you love tea, you got CBD in tea. If you love chocolate, you got CBD in chocolate form. If you love lemonade, you got CBD lemonade. It all depends on, really how you want to use it as a consumer.
So so with that being said, one's not better than the other. It's all a matter of preference. Like you would say, all right, if you have this ailment, I would prefer you use this instead of this. That doesn't exist in the CBD world.
It can to an
except
extent.
for the topicals is what you
Yeah,
just
it
said.
can to an extent. Like for example, you can see behind the counter we have the smokable flower, the joints, the vapes, the oils. The most medicinal option is always going to be the oils, which is your tinctures. Always the most medicinal because your body absorbs CBD best in your palate because it's sublingual. Now in terms of instant effects, when you're smoking CBD, whether it's the flower, the J's, or the vapes, you're actually absorbing it quickest. So for example, if you have anxiety or stress, now using these products, you're getting instant absorption, so you're getting rid of it right away. Where if you have anxiety and stress and you're using an edible, you're sitting there stressed out thinking, oh my God, when's it gonna kick in to go away,
Right.
So that's why there's certain, depending on the person, depending on what you're looking for, there are like certain options that are recommended for them.
Right.
But CBD as a base is really what your body needs, so it all depends on preference.
Okay, now this, I've talked to Darek about this, and the whole thing about CBD, once again, I love it. The whole cannabis industry is here's the thing. The whole cannabis industry to me and Darek, they've been just amazing. It's
It's more personal to you, right?
I'm sorry.
It was more personal to you.
Yeah, I got into it. Let's be real. I got into it because it was the next big booming thing, as you know. It's the next big booming thing. But the cannabis world has been so welcoming. It's incredibly welcoming, just from our IG and the DMs and all this good stuff.
Yeah, it's the best community of people.
It's a great community of people. It really is. So, with that being said, why the hate? Why the negativity? Why the
There's still a stigma.
Well, you know what?
That's going to take time. I would
Well, that's
imagine.
going to lead into my next question. When you opened, there must have been so many people like, "Are you out of your mind? Why? Why would you even think about a cannabis run?
Yeah.
Why? You must have run into it a little bit, a lot of it.
To be honest, since I opened in Hoboken, about a year ago, I've really had no pushback. It's been really incredible. No, not really. Because I represent something that's already legal, therefore I think that people have kind of already trained their mind to understand that even if they come in here and give me a hard time, there's really nothing they can do because I'm following exactly what, the man in the White House told me to do.
Right.
So I haven't really experienced it, especially with the flower. Like here and there, I thought I'd get heat, because I was selling it, but people really appreciate that it's a legal option. Like for example, the police force in Hoboken, when I opened up there, I brought about an ounce of CBD flower into the police station with me, and I was like, hey guys, just letting you know, I have like 8 different strains, it's about an ounce, I want to explain to you how CBD works in the body, what I'm selling, and they were like, this is awesome, man. This is so cool. We're so happy.
If I would have done that, they'd have let the dogs out.
Yeah.
It was just like,
And then imagine I brought out the flower.
Yeah, for them it was like, because Hoboken's got a little bit of a projects over there, so they really appreciated like essentially offering a legal option for people to consume, something that made it, I guess, more affordable, and for people who do suffer from some things that maybe rely on something that's illegal, now they have a legal option. Just, a lot of older people on the police force over there, and they just never thought they'd see the day. So this was really cool for them.
Right.
Same thing translated. Like when I went to Montclair, they were great with me. And then my next step is coming over here to the Red Bank,
Right.
police station, and saying what's up.
You have to admit there's still that negative. There really
There will
is
be
that,
for some. For
Well-
others, it'll be easier to get over, I imagine. The older you are, probably the harder it is, unless you're in pain, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I mean,
Here's all doors open. I
Yeah.
think pain is the deciding
I
factor.
think
right?
that the industry just came out so hard, and it hit everybody with so much information the last year that even the super cannabis haters, they come in here now and they understand because everyone's got something to deal with.
Right.
And I think a lot of people who are even older, you think that the pushback comes in that community. People come in here, they're like, hey, I'm 65 years old and I've been smoking pot for 30 years, and I actually got really bad shoulder pain. I heard your lotion's awesome. Can I buy it? I get that.
Right.
Or I get the first time person who comes in and they're like, hey, I've never actually used cannabis in my life. But, my grandma's using it and she's 20 years older than me and she says that she sleeps now and I don't sleep and I want to try it. It's like there's such a big range of product and experiences and people. And like I said, there's so many different options that, people really feel comfortable. That's my goal. My goal is to make sure that you come in here and you feel comfortable shopping, and we do a shit ton of education in here, so it's something we're really proud on. We'll touch on that eventually.
you really do. When I was hanging out with him, he had people coming in. First of all, number one, the really cool thing about what was pretty awesome, dude, is there were people coming in saying, yeah, I'm just going to buy this or I'm going to buy that. And I'm like, are these just people that you know? And you're like, no, man. You're like, they went out to eat. They were in pain. They came in here. He gave them a topical or a tincture or whatever. They liked what literally, they went back out. They had lunch in Red Bank. They came back an hour later and they bought.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
and
sampled it out.
Totally sampled. So you have no problem in giving, well, I don't want everyone coming in here and grabbing samples, but I'm just saying though, it's you have no problem giving samples out because you believe in the product that much. I mean,
especially my lotion. So just to be clear, everything's 18 plus, so no samples go to anyone under 18, and no one under 18 can buy. But when it comes to topical products, you come in here, you describe something, hey, I need a lotion. I'm like, no problem, try it out. Let them try it, give them the option if they want to get it today, they can. Otherwise, I tell them, look, go for a walk. If you like it, come back. I'm going to be here till 8. And then normally 9 out of 10 times they do come back, or they come back and get it in a few days, or they order online. But especially with the topicals, I worked really hard on that formula. It's my pride and joy, so that's my favorite product in the store.
Right.
So that one does really well.
It's crazy though too, but you're a wealth of knowledge, and people would come in, and it blows my mind when someone says, "What is CBD?" I was like, "Really? Where are you living?" Right? That one lady that walked in, like, "What's CBD?" And I sat there like, "Okay." And
Their next question was, what's Twitter?
exactly. And you just laid it down, man. You were seriously. This guy was Darek.
Yeah.
Derek was it? We're both Derek's, but just an absolute wealth of knowledge. And she was just sitting there, and there were things about it I didn't know that he was just rolling off. I was like, no shit, you know what I'm saying? You should run a class, dude. Seriously, there's when these guys come in, you really take your time. And what makes this place more special than any other CBD place that I've ever been to is that you will actually take time. And I'm sure employees will take time in educating you, what you're looking for, what they want, what's best for them. You don't just kind of all right, what do you want? All right, smoke that and get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? You care.
Yeah, the most important part is understanding the customer, and what they're looking for. Because a lot of people come in here and they want to try CBD or they heard about it, but they don't really know even what they want. They don't know what the options are. So that's really important. One of the biggest things that makes us different than a lot of other CBD stores, for example, is not that we, I never say oh, my products are the best. That's not how I market this. What I market is the fact that we have good products. We're transparent, we're educational, we're friendly, but most importantly, we take the time to make sure that everyone understands what's going on. You just missed it 10 minutes before you came in here. I had an older woman come in and she wanted to buy flour, and she didn't know the difference between a gram and an eighth and a quarter. So I'm breaking down the math on all them. And
How fat do you want the joint to be?
Well, that one I know. That one I can explain.
I'm sure you guys know.
Yeah.
But simple things like that, and it's just she was in her 60s and she had no idea what an eighth was. And I'm like, okay, well, a gram is a gram, an eighth is 3.5, a quarter is 70. I was like, this is what a half is, this is what an ounce is. And
right.
She's like, okay, I'm gonna get a quarter. Can I try 7 different strains, all 1 gram, right? I'm like, yep. And then she got 7.
No
different strains,
kidding.
all 1 gram.
Wow.
I missed that, huh?
But that's something that we get to do here, where other places she might have came in there and not bought what she wanted because she didn't know, and they didn't take the time to teach her.
Right.
So is that why you're leaving all of them in, just they're not all bagged up, they're not,
Everything is way fresh. That's one thing I'm big
Nice.
on. All the jars are sealed. They have hydration packs in them and terpene they're kind of I don't even know what to call them. They prevent the flavor and scent from going bad. They kind of keep them nice and fresh. They're all weighed. We have our little tools over here, my scales on the bottom, my pop tops, labels. Fun stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely fresh. Just when we were here, that one lady opened up that can, and it was loud as hell. Like, it just kind of hit me in the face. And I was like, yo, it smells really good, but you keep that really fresh. Well, okay, so you're a wealth of knowledge. You obviously love the CBD industry. Where did you learn all this stuff? Like, I know you went to school. You went to a really good school. I mean, you were Northeastern, right?
Yep, Northeastern.
Also played soccer, though. We'll touch on that, too, because
Yeah.
we talk cannabis, but a lot of weird things as well. So, like, your wealth of knowledge comes from where and or why?
Well, this is, like I said, my background was at NBC. I spent a lot of time there, where I was producing, reporting, all that. And in order to do those stories, you have to put a lot of work into them, a lot of background research, a lot of verifying with other people, getting other people's opinions. There's a lot of work that goes into providing a story to the public. So really what I do here is essentially the same thing, but just on a different end of the spectrum, So
Right.
when it comes to like manufacturers, whenever I release a new product, I sit down with my team. We go over all the ingredients together. We go over like what's the best option, and a lot of it's just there's so much new knowledge because the cannabis legislation for hemp is changing every day.
Right.
So there's a lot more research going into it. A lot more people are able to grow it, understand it. So, right now we're CBD specific, but then you got CBG, CBN, CBC, CBD1, CBD2, CBDA. There's so many different types of it that like the list is endless. There's 140 different types of it.
Right.
So a lot of it's just like you have to be read in all the time. I have good people on my team, so in case I miss something, they let me know. Customers are really great too. Sometimes they pop in, they say, hey, look, this is something new that I tried, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know anything about it, but I'll look into it for you, and then I can make it for them, So that's kind of just ever evolving. It's about being open-minded and looking to, provide the best product that the customer wants.
Well, this is just a personal question for me, and I've seen it because I smoke CBD, and I know what CBD is and all that. And then I know CBG, like you just said, CBG exists, and I just know it's more expensive. What is that exactly? Because, and this is coming just from me particularly, I don't know. I just know CBD, you know what I'm saying? So I just know CBG is just more expensive. I believe it is, right?
It's more expensive.
What's the monster difference?
So right now it's hard to price it off the top of my head. Like, for example, if we were going by kilos, let's say, kilo CBD is probably, it's just lowered a lot. I'd say it's probably close to like $1,000, $2,000 now, where then when you start going up in the spectrum, CBG kilo is probably like $6,000.
Well, what's the difference, really?
It's harder to isolate the plants to really grow, to kind of really have that. Like, for example, CBG stands for cannabidiol. What it really does is that strain, when it's grown, it just has a lot more German chamomile inside of it. Right. Normally what it's known for, so it's just better for nausea, pain relief, and sleep. Now, when you have CBD in different types of strains, they're all like, they vary, where like something like CBD is strictly for that.
Right.
The new thing that's coming out is CBN. CBN, they're learning how to really like isolate, and that's going to be strictly really good for just sleep. Now that kilo price is like $20,000, because no one really knows how to grow it by itself. It's like it's like an engine of a car. It's where you have all these different parts of the car, and sometimes you can pull some of them out and the car still functions the right way, but it's not functioning properly.
Right.
That's kind of how like your system works with cannabis, so the more of those receptors you give that system, the better it functions, as a
It's
whole.
more pinpoint for what you probably.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, the CBD, all that good stuff. And right now, I understand it's it's blowing up. It's I mean, seriously, I mean, when you're talking cannabis, is there a bigger industry that's happening in the next how many years? I mean, it's like this whole big green rush. You're a part of it now. Are you afraid? Well, I don't know. I mean, they're gonna vote on it. They believe in November if they're gonna legalize actual cannabis, not CBD, but the actual THC. Is there something in your head saying, hey, you know what? That's gonna make my business get even bigger. I'm going to now be in the CBD and THC. I could be a dispensary. Or you're thinking to myself, oh my God, that's a whole different license. I have to apply for that.
Yeah.
I have this that's going to take from my business. Like, what's your take on the legalization of cannabis right now? And I mean, right now you got such a great thing going there. I mean, just look around. I mean, it's tremendous. Do you think that's going to hurt? Or do you think that, I mean, most people don't think it's going to hurt, but think about that, right? I mean, will a lot more people be like, hey, you know what? I want to get high. I like THC. This is what I'd rather do instead of CBD. I mean, what's your take on that as a business owner of a successful CBD business?
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone's favorite question. Everyone comes in the store and the first thing they always ask is, hey, when things get legal, are you going to flip? And I'm like, listen, I have no idea. Right now there's no legislation currently in the state for people like me. Everyone thinks that because of what I currently sell, I get special privilege. I don't. Right now the guys who sell pizza next door have equal opportunity to gaining a THC license to sell recreational pot. From what I understand and observing my customers and getting to know them, I'd say probably about like 65 to 70% of the customers don't use THC at all. So for me, it's like that's my customer base. And I've also learned, you guys know, people who smoke pot right now, they buy it how they buy it. They're going to get it illegally. And things becoming legal isn't going to affect, I don't think it's going to affect the CBD world that much because of the fact that people come in here and buy CBD who use THC are still buying CBD in a legal storefront, and they're buying their THC from their guy on the block.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you? Nobody can tell where you got it from.
Things don't, to me, it's like, if there's a recreational spot down the block now, people already who are smoking pot are already buying it illegally. So them coming now and having a storefront isn't going to change, to me, how people buy.
Right. Well, the thing with a dispensary or something like this, they're both medicinal. So if somebody opens up a dispensary, well, I got a question about that. So somebody could actually, I know that if you open up a dispensary, an actual THC dispensary, I think there's like legalities. It can only be this many in so many blocks or something like that, or certain miles.
There's a lot of zoning rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Same
right?
with liquor stores.
I guess that wouldn't make a difference with you, would it? Would THC and or CBD? Because someone could literally just pop open across the street from you and be like, all right, you know what, green room, it's successful. I'm gonna dip into your
Yeah, I mean, there's always competition's competition,
But is it? I mean, but is it competition? Is the thing?
That's the thing. It's hard to say. Like right now, for example, shout out to Garden State Dispensary in Union. They showed me a lot of love. I have a little partnership that kind of came to fruition. I don't even know how. They send a lot of people that come into their dispensary looking for THC or CBD, whether it's either product, they get their THC there, and then when they want CBD, they normally refer them to me.
Nice.
I don't know how it started or why. Maybe one of their customers or clients or someone who works there came into one of my stores.
Right.
From a Montclair location, gets a lot of visits from people who are referred from Garden State Dispensary in Union. So that to me is like really nice that they do that. Likewise, we share, customers, however it is. But like I said, it's like alcohol. When you were 18 or 19, you were drinking even though you knew the age limit was 21. Exactly. And then all of a sudden, you turn 21, and it wasn't like, oh my God, I can have my first drink now. No, you've been finding out how to drink however
Exactly.
you want before that,
Yeah.
So to me, I see it the same way. I'm hoping, I love this industry. I love this experience. I like how you guys can come in here. It's not bulletproof. It's not tinted. There's not a guard at the door with a gun. You're not showing an ID. It's not cash only.
Yeah.
Like that to me is important. And if things become recreational in this state and they follow those protocols, it's not something that I want to really do because of the fact that I lose this experience.
Right.
And to me, this experience is everything.
Do you think it will go legal? Like, what do you think is going to happen in November? Like, what's your take on it?
Personally, I think it's going to be no again.
Oh, ouch!
Yeah.
You hear that, man?
Yeah.
You don't think they'll put it on the
You
ballot?
heard it here, huh?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be on the ballot. It's a public vote. I personally think it's going to be no just because of the pushback from the communities that are still incarcerated because of petty cannabis crimes. I'm for legalization. I think it's easy for New Jersey to make money on tax dollars. But if you look at why it didn't pass last time, a lot of the pushback came from the Black and Hispanic community. I'm Hispanic. I know what it's like. A lot of people who are Black and Hispanic are still in jail for petty, marijuana crimes, whether it was smoking a J, having an ounce on you, whatever it may be. And now all of a sudden you're going to vote on it in November, and you're still got people locked up for petty crimes. And now what? Like the rich white guy gets to make money now. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So that's why I think that a lot of people are still going to have that pushback because I think they have to reform the system. And they have to drop a lot of those crimes and charges, and people have to get free because how is it fair that now you can consume a joint when your homie from a few years ago didn't get that job because he got locked up for smoking it? You know what I'm saying? It's
exactly.
just like they got to fix that.
You might be the first one. See, I don't know. Like, you go to our website, I don't pretend to know about the legalization or anything like that. I just like to smoke it and I have a good time with it. And I interview cool cats like you. I mean, it's just really what it is, right? That's really what it comes down to. But I think you might be the first, right? I mean, you might be the first person that I think I've heard said, I don't think it's gonna.
That's my news and politics background.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Well, there you go. I mean, now we
I've
got
noticed
it.
a trend in people using it more recreationally rather than medicinally lately. Are you seeing more people coming in just because they enjoy it?
It's honest opinion, absolutely, man. I think that people like anywhere from 20 to 35. I think your everyday working professional goes home after work and smokes a joint. Right. I think it's become like very normal.
Right.
I think it's been normalized, especially over the last few years. I think growing up in New Jersey, being close to New York City, especially too. I've noticed a trend, for example, like cigarettes and nicotine. I feel like that's really dying out, and I feel like all the people who used to smoke or potentially could have smoked nicotine are now smoking pot. Yeah. It's something that I've really observed. pretty much everyone I know smokes. It's not like there's very few people. Now it's more rare when it's like, wait, you don't smoke? That's more rare now than to meet somebody who does,
Right, exactly. It's, I mean, like I said, as far as the cannabis industry is to me, I know there's so much money to be made in it, which is why I think you're expecting it. I think we're all expecting it to be incredibly corrupt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be, like, I mean, right? Let's be real here. The corruption is just going to be absolutely, it's just going to be absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean, that alone, I mean, I have a friend that he's like, well, I want to do this. I want a dispensary. I'm going to put a license in. I want XYZ, right? And he was like saying, but I don't want to do with the corruption. And I'm like, well, then I wouldn't get involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wouldn't get. So in the CBD world, you don't have to deal with that at all, correct? I mean, there's no corruption. There's none of that as far as. I mean, okay. All right, I touched on it.
It depends who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I said, everything in here is farm to table. So I know where everything comes from. I know how it's made. I know where it's coming from, where it's sourced. What kind of components they're putting into it. I can walk you through the whole process and how the edibles are made.
Right.
The hydroponics that go into it. What kind of grow they're using, how it's harvested, how it's dried, how it's put into the machine that then pulls out the oils. The type of pressure there is. I'll walk you through the whole list. On the back end of it, there are people who come into this industry and open up stores like this that I've seen from personal experience that they come in and they open up a store and they mark up all the items. They mislabel all the products. They'll sell a 1,000 milligram product at 100.
Right.
And they'll make the full profit off of 1,000 when they're not selling a 1,000 milligram product.
Right.
So that's where the corruption.
Oh, I never even thought about
because we're not regulated in that sense. So it's a little bit different.
I never actually really thought about that. I thought about maybe somebody might be just smoking or consuming shitty CBD.
Yeah, I mean,
So they're mislabeled. So this is all incompetence, you think? Like a lot of that?
A lot of people do it on purpose. Absolutely. There's a lot of brands that will go out there and take a product and be like, hey, yeah, this is a 1,000 milligram product, and be like 100, but who's going to tell you it's not?
Right.
There's no legal force. That's why I take a lot of pride here that everything is under-labeled here. So like my 850 milligram relief cream is actually 855 in there. Things like that.
Oh, nice.
I'm very particular about that. We carry all the lab results on the counter with all the products. So that's something that I really stand by. But that's where that kind of lies, because you got a lot of people who see that this is a quick industry to make some money right now. And They come in, they just kind of wing it, make whatever they can. Oh shit, someone found out that I'm lying. Okay, see you later.
Right.
And then you don't get any penalties,
Right. Well, I mean, for the record here, man, like when I walked in here and the last couple times I've been in here, right, it kind of blows my mind. Just CBD aside. So, we talk cannabis, we talk CBD. Now let's talk about the man, right? Let's talk about this guy. All right. So number one, I remember when I told you I met this guy, right? And I was like, dude, you gotta meet this dude, man. He's this young guy who's an entrepreneur. He's got 3 stores. The guy is just all business. Remember we were just talking, and I was like, dude, you just lay things out as an entrepreneur would, as business is concerned, right? This cat. I mean, I don't want to tell your story, right? But you lived in France. You lived this guy lived overseas. You did all that crazy shit.
I mean, shit. I always tell people, everyone comes and wants to ask advice now and things like that. And for me, I'm just, I'm a regular kid from a small town in Richmond, New Jersey. And my parents gave me the opportunity to grow and learn and educate myself. And that I'm forever grateful. And this whole thing started because mom and dad gave me a loan to open their first store. So they believed in me. I believed in them. They've always given me that opportunity. I played soccer my whole life. Soccer always taught me how to be a leader, how to be a team player, how to be a captain. And that brought me all over the world. And that's where a lot of my knowledge here and how different things evolve, because of the fact that I've seen how things work in Brazil, how things work in France, how things work in Poland, how things work in England. Because I've lived there, and I understand it, And then I went to Northeastern,
Did you got a scholarship playing soccer, right?
Yeah, I got a soccer scholarship to play there. Played for about 3 years, and then I saw more opportunities not being with the team to go overseas and pursue my education. So I ended up going abroad twice. I lived in Peru one summer, and then the second summer I went to Argentina. Lived there for a bit. Hey man, it's just life's short, and when you're in college and you got opportunities to go overseas and study, I think it's super important. You learn a lot about yourself, France is really special to me. I moved there after I graduated Northeastern.
And being a soccer dude, I mean, you probably just fit right in, right? And you're good at soccer.
Yeah,
I saw that video, dude. I mean, I was like, he's not. It's not like he doesn't look like an adult like me that just kicks a ball, right? This guy can juggle. You can do all that crazy shit, dude. You ever think about going pro or no? Or has it even crossed your mind? Or
yeah, I mean, I had some opportunities when I was younger. It was always my dad's dream, so I really pushed it for him. I always wanted to make him happy. Played at Bergen Catholic for high school. I played there for a bit. Did my 4 years there, and then I had an opportunity right between high school and college. I played in Italy for a little bit with AC Milan second team. I was on trial there. I had a good opportunity to probably stay for a few years, but realistically, you got to look yourself in the mirror one day and be like, hey, is this my dream or is this someone else's? And I was
You
really
didn't love it? Did you love it?
I loved it for different ways. Like soccer to me, if anyone knows me, they've heard me say it before, soccer to me is my international language. I'm able to go anywhere in the world with the ball, go play pickup on a field with people I don't know.
Right.
And I don't know what they're saying to me or what. Doesn't matter because the ball does the talking.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. And that's how I always made friends when I traveled. It's one of the few sports that you can play by yourself. I sit there, I go to the park, I juggle, I do my thing, and then someone comes over, hey, pass the ball, and then all of a sudden now you're homies.
Right.
So that's that's something for me that's special. But yeah, playing and then in college, graduating, working at NBC, moving to France, I did all those things because who says you can't? It's a matter of constantly pushing yourself and evolving and taking those risks. I moved to France for my dream job. I packed up my whole life into 2 suitcases and I moved away.
Right.
And then my dream job didn't work out, and I came back home and I had to explain to everybody, hey, this is my dream job.
But you took
and
the
it didn't
chance,
work.
though. You went out and took the chance.
Yeah, because it helps you learn. And France, I lived in Lyon. It's a very, very special place to me because I felt like that's where I became a man. That's where I grew up.
Right.
It's a very difficult country to move to, okay? You can't...
Well, you didn't speak the language either.
Yeah, no language skills, but you can't open up a French bank account unless you have a French address, and you can't get a French address unless you have a French bank account. So figure that out as American.
Yeah, that's...
So yeah, it's tough, But yeah, a lot of learning experiences, and I always tell everybody, just you got to take the gamble, and you get lucky. Everyone has their opportunity. It's just about recognizing when you got it. And you listen to any big podcast, any entrepreneur right now who's doing something. I don't even think I'm anywhere close to anybody else. I'm just starting. This is very.
You're off to a hell of a start, bro.
This is very humbling to me. I don't ever boast about what I do. I rarely do things like this because this is like my work, and I work in privacy, and I'm very down to earth. My mom and dad keep me there. I have a lot of great friends. So it's just a matter of you have to recognize your opportunity. And if you listen to any of Steve Jobs' quotes, his books, he'll talk about that. Tom Cook will talk about that. Any of these big entrepreneurs will say that, hey, we saw an opportunity and we just grabbed it. It was a matter of trying.
Right. Well, let me ask you. I mean, you have all this. You have all those experiences. You played soccer. You still love soccer? I mean, you still
Absolutely, man. I got my ball in the back. I play once or twice a week.
Gotta know. Messi, Ronaldo.
Tough question. So the best explanation for me for that is Ronaldo's the best player on this planet, and Messi's the best player in the universe.
Wow. Look at that.
Because Messi's just natural born talent. I
Yeah.
think he's just incredible. Anyone who doesn't agree with that is just lying to themselves. Where Ronaldo is a great example for people like me. I want to be Ronaldo because Ronaldo's the kind of person where he worked to get to that level of Messi.
Right.
He was never at that level. And he worked hard to get there. And that's like a lesson for everybody that they need to understand that you can always get to that player. You just have to work there. You have to work hard to get there.
The great thing I see about those two, and I'm not a big soccer fan at all. I mean, I love baseball, as you know, and football. I'm a big sports fan, right? But I don't know much soccer. But when you see clippings on those guys, they just seem like. I mean, Ronaldo, maybe they say he's arrogant, but when you see they seem like really nice guys, don't they? They seem like they'll take time for their fans. They'll take time for. It
Well,
just
keep in
seems
mind,
like
they
that.
know when their cameras are on.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
That's true.
Hi!
Yeah.
Well, that's true too.
Did you get me kissing that baby? Good.
I'm just saying that it seems like they just seem really nice. They seem like really nice
Or smelling
guys.
the hair like
Yeah.
and both of them just tend to be really good looking, so that's always
Yeah.
I mean, soccer's great. All right, hear me out. Okay, a lot of people think soccer. A lot of people think soccer's boring, right? It's just an idea I had. Don't know if you agree.
Oh no, not this.
If you want to make soccer,
stop.
if you want to make soccer more interesting, right? Another ball. What do you think? What do you think? Go. Just hear me out on this. 2 balls, twice the action.
Yeah. I took you as a 2.
You think this is what God said when he was making us?
Yeah, I mean, shit, it would definitely be interesting. Maybe this is your opportunity,
You think
man.
this
You
might
got to
be it?
recognize it. You got to grab it by the balls and do it.
I might have to.
You know, it'd be really funny if
telling you.
both teams scored at the same time and they all celebrated. Nobody in the stands knew what the fuck to do.
And that's great. And then there's a huge fight that happens. 2 balls. I'm telling. I don't know. I just thought 2
Yeah.
balls was the way to go with it. All right. So we got your whole life story. Got to know now what's next. What's next for Darek?
What's next?
Besides, I mean, this is the 3rd one. A year from now, will there be 5 more? Is this not? Do you think this is your passion? Do you think this is what's going to make you that gazillion dollars, or do you have more? And this is just me knowing you for a little bit. It just seems like you always have these ideas. You always have great ideas. It's never going to be enough. You know, it's like I got green room. I have a dozen of these shops. Now on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing.
Right.
Am I wrong in saying that's not like in your personality, or are you going to be like, you know what? No, once I make $1 billion, that's it, Ed. I'm out.
Yeah, you know, I'm an interesting person. You know, my last name is Wajda. It's my Polish side. If you actually look at the meaning and the root of what that means back in Hungary, where the origins are, it's means king of the gypsies, like gypsy king. You know,
Yeah,
and if you know what a gypsy is, you
Yeah,
know,
So you're
very
gonna
much.
wander around.
a
Yeah.
roamer,
nomadic.
a wanderer, nomadic, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm constantly looking for something else. You know, I like that sense of fulfillment. You know, like when I started this, big shout out to Lynn Hazan. She's a big blogger from Jersey City. Used to go by Chickpea JC. She gave me the name, The Green Room. A good friend of mine. I had nothing. The creativity was at a minimal, and I asked her as a friend for a name, and she gave it to me like that. You know, so that's how it started. I told her, look, I just want one store. That's how it's going to be.
The Hoboken one, right?
Yep, Hoboken. We're on store 3 now. You know, for me, if I can keep doing this and keep opening great stores that people love, I'll continue. I don't really have an end goal. There was never a goal for this brand. It was just something that, like I said, I recognized an opportunity. I grabbed it. I had great support from my parents. My dad's a contractor. He builds up my stores. My sister's a photographer. She takes my product shots and helps me with my website. And my mother's a teacher, and she keeps me on the ground and keeps
you
my
got
head
it
on my
all.
shoulders. You know, you know. So that's why it's like I got a lot of support. You know, if I can open up 10, I'll open up 10. If it turns into 100, it turns into 100. You know,
Right.
The girl I'm seeing, she just recently asked me, hey, you know, what happens if you have 100 stores? You're still going to work behind the counter? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. You know, I have to work behind the counter, because if I don't, I forget what the experience in here is like. You know, I
Right.
forget what the customers want. And I can't rely on people to do that. This is my brand at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, and this is how it started. And the customers are who created the brand for me. You know, people come in, man, I love this strain Stormy Daniels. It makes me laugh. Can you get it in edible form? And I made it in edible form. You know? So
Can I eat
turns
Stormy
out-
Daniels?
So now it turns out that people love it because it's a mood lifter. It's an antidepressant. People use those edibles for the CBD benefits, but now people who have severe depression are like, man, I feel great all the time.
Right.
You know, so like there's always something, and that product came because of a customer who asked for it.
Right.
You know, and now it's one of my top selling edibles. You know,
Right.
that's how this all starts, and I don't want to ever lose that. You know.
So there's no end game for you. You're always going to be behind the counter, because every time I come back, you're always here and you're always working hard. And
Yeah, you know.
I mean, you're a cool cat to hang
Yeah.
with too, man. It's a good time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's a cool store. Yeah, like I'm shouting it out just to everybody. I mean, like if you're gonna get your CBD, you might as well go to a place that feels like home. There's a couch back there. There's a lounge back there
Yeah,
too.
man.
Okay,
Old school
Right.
record player.
well, the old school record player back down there. Like it's a really cool place. So I mean, if you're gonna get your CBD, just try. You know, just try coming to this place or like this. I've never been to anything like it where it really encompasses you and just feeling home, and you feel like someone's gonna take care of you. You know, someone's gonna
Yeah.
educate you. Someone's gonna take care of you. You know what I'm saying? It's a good place, and this is why I'm almost positive 80, if not 90% of all your people come back. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
we
saying?
have a
It's-
really
it's
good
experience.
retention rate. A lot of people come back. For me, man, it's just one step in front of the other. You know, whatever
Yeah.
I can do, if I can keep going, if I pivot off and start another brand, I'll do that. If I sell it, I sell it. You know, there's no end game. You know, for me, I love what I do. I love working behind the counter. Last Friday here in Red Bank was probably actually one of my favorite days behind the counter ever since I started this. Just the people down here are so cool. A lot of great stories. Everyone does their homework here. Most people knew who I was already before they walked in.
Yeah.
They already knew what we sold. They watched the vlogs, the videos, the podcasts, you know. So that to me is special.
Right.
That brand is making an impact on people. You know, but end of the day, there's nothing better than going home and feeling like you bought something that was worth it. You know, and that for me is special. You know, a lot of different things. I'll get a little sentimental and I'll explain a little something. So last month we hit our 10,000th sale.
Oh.
That to me was really, really special.
Here?
Just in general, between the whole brand.
Okay.
We hit our 10,000 sale, and that to me was really something, because when I started at NBC, I wanted to be a reporter. My goal was to help one person a day. You know, how can I change one life with
Right.
one story? And at that rate of changing one life a day at NBC, it would have taken me 30 years to touch as many people I've touched now with this brand. You know, So that to me is like incredibly special. It keeps me humble, you know, that we're at 10, now we're at 11,000 sales.
Right.
You know, that to me, you know, yes, it's not 11,000 different people, but at that rate, it would have been my whole life working for one company, what I did in 1 year.
Right.
You know, so it's really special to me, and that's why.
Well, congratulations, man.
Yeah,
Like, congratulations. That's
That is
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me. Like I said, it doesn't surprise me. I keep saying it again, man. I
You love what you do, and you're good at it. You're blessed, right?
No, absolutely. And I wouldn't say it over and over if I didn't believe it where I walked in here, man. And like, you know, like I said, you're hanging out with you. It's just cool. It's a cool place. If you're gonna get your CBD, if you get your CBD anywhere else, you suck. you really do.
Even
Like,
if
you
you
know,
live in Canada, you should drive.
well, no, you online as well, which is what I get. So, you know, I know you got places to be. You're a busy guy. You know, I appreciate that. But I mean, if you want to find it, pimp yourself out, man. Do it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate you guys, and you know, thank you for having me.
Where can we find you? Everything, man.
Yeah, so 3 locations. We got the Green Room in Hoboken, the OG store, available at 64 Newark Street in Hoboken, New Jersey, right by the path. Second location, March. We opened up this year in March. That's going to be at 12. I can't even know my addresses. It's going to be 20 Church Street. And then we got a third store over here in Red Bank, and that's 12 Mama Street. Just opened up here almost 3 weeks ago. And you'll stay tuned to see what the next one's going to be.
Yeah, and we're all looking forward to it because I can assure you I'll be there, bro.
Yeah, man, thank you.
We're all going to be hanging out there. But like, this was amazing. So just love being here, love being a part of it. Once again, Comics on Cannabis. We talk everything from cannabis, sports, movies, anything pop culture. Just a cool place to hang out.
Extra balls and soccer games.
Extra balls and soccer games. And if you want to hang out with us, you can either come here to the Green Room, New Jersey, of course. You can go to our website, www.comicsoncannabis.com, and or follow us on Instagram at Comics on Cannabis. Derek Michael.
That's funny, right?
Here, once again, at the Green Room, New Jersey. Once again, if you don't get your CBD here, you suck. Get it here, guys. And then once again, underneath, you'll follow. We'll have our link here where you can purchase.
Yeah, it's going to be a swipe up, drop a link in the comment, you know.
All that good stuff, as you see, right? All that. So, guys, once again, this was amazing. And you know what? We are now out.
All my heroes are potheads. So why drink and drive when you can smoke and fly? Peter Tosh said got to legalize. All my heroes are potheads.